Um, I this is like kind of, this is just like, I'm just kind of speechless right now because I really was not expecting this right now, and
Well, I mean, I wasn't either. I mean, do you have like, I mean, what do you think I should do? Like, I don't know. I just called you, like, hoping that maybe you would be able to help me through this or something.
I feel like, I feel like, because I don't know what your moral standing is, and sometimes I don't know that I know what my moral standing is, because I used to always think that, like, when I was younger, if that happened to me, that I would just not have the child because I was irresponsible and a child myself or something. But now that I'm older, and now that you're older, and it's kind of like we're supposed to be these responsible adults, it's like I feel like to some extent, like, well, isn't this a part of being responsible? You know?
Yeah. So, are you saying you don't think it would be responsible to have an abortion or something?
I just don't know. I mean, like, how expensive is something like that, really? Like, is there not anywhere that you could go to like,
I can't even, like,
help?
it's coming down to the month, and I don't even know if I can afford rent right now, let alone, like, food or anything. And I looked into loans that could be offered for this sort of thing, and they're
Did you lose your job?
It seems, and I don't know, like, it's really expensive in the sense that it's out of my range, like.
Hey, Jerry, did you lose your job? Because I thought you
have a job?
Yeah, did you lose your job? Because I thought that you were doing fine. The last time I talked to you...
I mean, yeah, you knew I was working at Gap, but, like, that ended around the end of last year. It wasn't working out as far as it wasn't supporting me enough, like, for the commute I was making, so I just gave them my notice, and I was hoping that I would find a new position. It's just, I mean, you know, it hasn't worked out. I thought you knew that, like, that I haven't been working, and that I've been trying to get work, but it's just, like, I've just been selling a lot of my stuff now. I'm, like, doing what I can to, like, make money, and Sarah's been sort of doing things on the side to make money for herself, too, but it's nothing secure. We don't have jobs right now, and she just has loans, and I just have whatever I make on the side.
Well, maybe I can help, like, do some research, and we can see if there's any kind of, like, funding or, I mean, I don't think that we need to tell Mom and Dad. I think that, I just feel like I need to think about this, because I feel like, I'm sorry if I'm seeming insensitive. I guess this is just, like, surprising me right now, and, and I don't know what the answer is, because I don't know what the options are. And, like, I don't entirely know the details of, like, what options there could be for you. I mean, do you...
I don't either, but, like, I mean, if you don't think that I should let them know, like, that's, and, I mean, I don't want you, like, I don't want this sort of, like, crossing over into what you're trying to do at all. I appreciate your help, but...
What do you mean crossing over into what I'm doing?
Well, I know you're busy, and I know you're trying to make things happen for yourself, and I'm just like...
Yeah, but
I'm just a family member that quit it all, and, like, is
that's
just
not
kind of wandering now, and has no real, like, focus or direction, that I don't want to, like, interfere with any person that does have that, so...
Jerry, come on, you know that doesn't matter to me. You know, I went through a phase where I don't entirely know what I want to do. I'm a freaking babysitter.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, but you have a job, so I don't...
Is there just no work in North Carolina right now, in Boone? Can you just not find any work right
No.
now?
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like I've applied and like there's not much callback, and it's all like, even then it's just minimum wage, and minimum wage is so low, and rent is so high here, and I can't get out of my lease or anything. If I could, I would immediately, but hopefully during the summer I'll be able to, but that's not even certain.
Well, do you think maybe you should go home? Do you think maybe you should go back to mom and dad's and just spend some time there to get back on your feet?
I mean, that's what I fear, is doing that, because, you know, like, during the time when I was, like, going to community college stuff, I was back home, and, like, how that was for me, and
I know,
maybe you don't
I
know
know.
fully, but it was, I don't know, it wasn't the best of things, and now I'm, like, sort of getting grounds and independence, and would hope to continue on that, and don't really, like, we don't even know much about where they live anymore. Like, that's a new place, that's not home for us.
I know, but I mean, sometimes, like, you just have to do things like that until you can kind of refocus and figure
then, like,
out what's next.
But then, like, I'm leaving her behind, and, like, what if it's decided that she's going to keep the child or put it up for adoption? She's dealing with these things alone, and I don't want that. Like, it's equally my, I guess, fault as we would consider it or something, but it's equal, and it's like, for me to just get up and leave would just be, I don't know, it seems like the end.
It's not the end. There's a solution for this. It's just going to be complicated, and it's not going to be easy for anybody. But there's a solution. I mean, it's going to mean some form of sacrifice, though. I mean, whether that's, like, you deciding that you're going to keep the child and, I don't know, move back home. Like, could she go back home with you? Or, like, what about her family?
Like, she has, I'm pretty sure from what I know, like, from what we talked about, she has, like, at least 2 years left in her education, and it would just be wrong, and we understand that, for her to get out of this. Like, she's, like, it's in state, so it's affordable for her and her family to, like, do this. If she were to move, like, it wouldn't be as possible, and her goals matter to both of us, and it would be great. Like, I think we both would like to have each other around, but it's also a matter of, like, our future goals, and not trying to stray too far from that.
Well, I feel like that's what always happens when there's, like, a pregnancy scare. It's always about, like, losing, like, who you are and what you had in your, like, path ahead of you. And
and I just feel like with me, like, in the mix, like, it just is sort of, I'm working through this right now in my head. I'm sorry, but maybe you're right. Like, maybe it doesn't matter because I don't have a direction like everyone else does right now, and like she does. And if I were to go back home, it would make no sense because I don't have anything. So what am I really losing? I mean, there's not a huge difference between here and there for me anymore.
Well, I think it's more that you have to, like, I think you have to look at all of it as, like the going home thing could just be sort of like a short-term thing. It's not like it's going to be forever. And it doesn't mean that your relationship necessarily would have to end with Sarah. I mean, people have long-distance relationships all the time.
I mean, I know that, and, like, I understand, but I don't know, it sucks. Like, we've had conversations about this, and we know that, like, she's going to be here for at least 2 years, and that I have no intent of, like, being here as long as that is. And
so we
talked about it, and we agree that if there was a separation distance-wise like this, that it probably wouldn't work out between us because of the people we understand each other to be, and it's not like a hurt thing in the sense of, like, I'm offended you would make the choice because we're both feeling that way. It's just sort of like an inevitable sort of, like, sense of doom that we're feeling in this sense, like, if this does occur.
Right, you know,
seeming over for the time, like.
My friend Jerry, his name's also Jerry, like, he had to go home for a while, and he said it was the hardest part of his life, but, like, he got himself back on his feet, like, he got out there, And he always said, I mean, he told me, you don't need to worry about the future that much. Right now we're just you're kind of here, and it's this moment, and there's a solution, and it's all going to, require sacrifice on some end. So it's a matter of, maybe recognizing, what is sacrifice that you're willing to have. Because I know that you eventually want to have kids. So...
Yeah.
I don't...
Maybe I'll eventually... Not anytime soon. I don't even know.
Well, so you can't talk to her family either. Do you think you'd feel I mean, I know Mom would freak out, but do you think you'd feel comfortable talking to Dad about it? I don't know. He's just really hard.
You know how they have that communication between them, that if Dad knows, Mom's gonna know. That's just how they work between each other. That there aren't any secrets, especially amongst the family. And if one person knows something, that is gonna be revealed sooner than later. But it's going to be revealed.
I mean, I guess...
I can't even, come to, him for that, or I couldn't come to anyone else,
I mean, I think that if you feel like you really can't, if you really don't think that you can be a father right now, then maybe I can help you and do some research and figure out if there's funding for an abortion, or if there's other means, or I mean adoption could still be an option, or do you guys feel like that would just freak you out too much?
We know it's an option, but with her priorities and her focus, I'm afraid. I don't think she is so much, but I'm afraid that would pull her off from her focus on her studies and stuff a bit, and I know our sort of mutual our mutual opinion on that, there's enough people in the world that, if it's possible that we could keep one from being thrown into it, we don't, the idea of a person just being to just give a person away, I don't know. That too, and we would stay connected, open, as far as they could contact us, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, kids are a huge responsibility, so if you're saying, you can't pay for rent and you can't, find a job right now, then it seems like you already have it made up in your head that obviously whatever does happen, you're not keeping the kid. So, have you talked to any of your other friends about this in terms of maybe, I feel like I'm being such a crappy sister right now.
Rob even doesn't know, and I'm trying to keep this down a bit because I don't want him to overhear. He's still here.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on.
Come with him, and he doesn't even know. He'll be offended if he finds out this way that this is what's going on. We're just trying to because we're not even certain, and we don't want people thinking that this is the real thing, and just yet, and so we're keeping it under wraps as long as possible. So it's a forced reality, I suppose, which is getting near that point, and that's why I called you.
I'm sorry, somebody just walked in, I got distracted. I'm being such a crappy, sister right now. Could I call you? I hate to do this to you. Can you hang out with somebody for a while? Because it sounds like you're in a really weird place, that maybe you should try to do something that can distract you a little bit. I am actually busy until midnight, but I could call you right after that.
Yeah.
So, and we could talk about this more when I can give you a